last second. There we go. Oh, good. Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's Board of Education meeting. The date is Tuesday, January 9th, 2018, and Happy New Year, everyone. I want to remind you this meeting is being recorded and to please turn off all cell phones. Ellen, can you please do the roll call?
Thank you. And Happy New Year, everyone. Mrs. Granat, Mr. Cassio?
Present.
Mrs. Fitzpatrick? Mr. Healy?
Here.
Ms. McCurdy?
Here.
Ms. Moon?
Here.
Mr. Morris?
Here.
Mrs. Paradise?
Present.
Vice Chairperson Mr. Hill?
Here.
Chairperson Mrs. Granato?
Present.
And Wethersfield High School Student Representative Mr. Justin Bianchi?
Present.
All present.
Okay, thank you, Ellen. And I would like Dylan Knapp, who's a freshman at the Wethersfield High School, to come on up and start us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you, Dylan. Okay, and Mr. Emmett, we have a student recognition tonight, and I believe Dylan is being recognized.
You are absolutely correct. If I could please have Dylan Knapp, along with Dr. Diana DeVivo, Assistant Principal at Wethersfield High School, come to the podium.
Good evening. As we all know, Puerto Rico has experienced widespread damage and devastation in the aftermath of Hurricane Irma and Hurricane Maria. Over 6,000 students have left Puerto Rico to continue their education on the mainland, and at least 500 of those students have enrolled in Connecticut public schools. Students immigrating to Connecticut from Puerto Rico unfortunately do not have the items they need to survive the harsh winter weather of Connecticut. Our very own Dylan Knapp, a freshman at Wethersfield High School, has taken time to put the needs of others before himself. He began a campaign to collect coats, hats, mittens, and gloves for families who came to Connecticut to seek refuge. Dylan collected over 400 items, which were donated to the Anna Grace Relief effort in New Britain. Dylan, congratulations for a job well done helping families in need in the state of Connecticut. Congratulations.
I'd like to thank everyone here, and also Dr. DeVivo for helping me out with thinking of things I could do to help the community and people, and also Mr. Moore for helping pick me to be the Jets Upstander of the Week, and Chief Sistran for letting us use the police station to collect all the winter stuff, and Mrs. Campbell for helping me fix up and clean the poster and make it look good, and so we could have it on the website and so people would know about it.
That's excellent.
Great.
Excellent.
Great job. Nice job. Good job. Dylan, on behalf of the board, I want to thank you, and also thank you for getting up there and saying your words. But I want you to know, your grandfather, Chief Knapp, was one of my favorite persons of all time in Wethersfield. He'd be so proud of you.
Thank
Congratulations.
You. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, so next on tonight's agenda,
We do have one other
and
item
keep
this
going.
evening. Yes, if I could have Mr. Sand, and we have some of our Wethersfield High travelers. They'd like to follow up. They had made mention of the Belize trip, and they'd like to follow up with a little video presentation.
Right. So you guilted me into it last time I was here because I never came. So I said, all right, we'll put together it's just a 3-minute highlight reel of some of the things we did, a lot of the things you did, and won't be able to explain them, but you'll see us visiting the school. You'll see us on 2 different Mayan pyramid sites. You'll see us in the nice blue waters where we'd all like to be right about now. You'll see us on a riverboat. You'll see us all over the place. And you'll get a sense of why the kids like to trip so much. And the only complaint I got from parents was it wasn't them that got to go. So, and after you see the video, I think you'll know why. And then I asked the kids if they would just share one of their experiences with you after we watch this here.
Great.
All right, space bar.
My hands on myself. Pick up dust and more, put them back up on the shelf. Just my little baby girl is in need. Am I coming out of left field? Ooh, I'm a rebel just for kicks. I've been feeling it since 1966. Might be over now, but I feel it still. Ooh, I'm a rebel just for kicks. Let me kick it like it's 1986 now. Might be over now, but I feel it still. Got another mouth to feed. Leaving with the babies till the mama call the grave digger. Gone with the falling leaves. Am I coming out of left field? Ooh, I'm a rebel just for kicks now. I've been feeling it since 1966 now. Might have had your fill, but I feel it still. Ooh, I'm a rebel just for kicks now. Let me kick it like it's 1986 now. Might be over now, I feel it still. We could fight a war for peace. Giving to that easy living, goodbye to my hopes and dreams. Stop flipping for my enemies. We could wait until the war's over. It's time to give a little to the kids in the middle. Oh, till it falls, won't bother me. Ooh, I'm a rebel just for kicks. Yeah, your lovers and a bitch for my heart to eclipse now. Might be over now, but I feel it still. Ooh, I'm a rebel just for kicks now. I've been feeling it since 1966 now. Might be over now, but I feel it still. Ooh, I'm a rebel just for kicks now. Let me kick it like it's 1986 now. Might be over now, but I feel it still. Might have had your fill, but I feel it still.
Please, it doesn't count. That's still good. Still good. All right, Ryan, you want to go first?
Yeah. My name's Ryan Meyer, and my favorite part of Belize was probably the cave tubing. It was a good time. It was very good.
Ryan, I didn't recognize you. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Hi, my name's Tim Blaisdell, and my favorite part of the trip was when we were snorkeling. I was about 3 feet away from a shark that was just below me,
Saw that.
and I had no idea what to do with myself.
My name's Holly Babineau, and my favorite part of the trip overall was just kind of the experiences it gave me. It let me come out of my shell a lot, you know, get over some fears like heights on the top of the pyramids and going underwater, swimming with fishes and stuff.
Great.
Hi, my name is Jane Rumley. My favorite experience was going to the school and meeting all the little kids and playing soccer with them and having them be unbelievable at it and killing us at everything they did. It was just so much fun.
Hi, I'm Addie Toner. My favorite experience would be snooping. It was really out of my comfort zone, but once I got down there and relaxed, it was so much fun, and overall bonding with everyone was so much fun.
And my favorite part, of course, was taking the kids. And usually these trips are about 90% work for me and 10% fun. In this group, for whatever reason, it was 90% fun and only 10% work. It was just a fabulous group of kids. You couldn't have been more proud of them, and it was a lot of fun.
Great
So.
experience. Thank you.
Great.
And any comments?
Any questions?
Everyone came back, correct?
Everybody came back. Yes.
Count it all.
I'm your sharks.
Well, one of our chaperones is a former student. So Shannon Pinney she just turned 29, so I don't know what year that means she graduated. She lives in Australia, and she was home for a visit, and I talked to her, and she is making her own way through Australia and got a career over there and doing all those things, and I thought, what a great kid to come back and be a role model and chaperone a trip. So she flew on her own from Australia to Belize, and we came out of the airport from Belize, and there she was, and she spent a week with us. And she was great. You guys loved her, right? She was a really, really great kid. So, but one of our graduates too, so it was really kind of neat.
Belize alumni, yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Very nice.
Great.
That's great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sand. Thanks, students.
A great experience.
Okay, that was a great way to start the meeting.
Okay. Next on tonight's agenda is the approval of the minutes of our regular Board of Ed meeting back in December 12th of 2017. Are there any corrections? Okay. Seeing none, do I have a motion?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Ellen, those minutes are approved. Okay. Also on tonight's agenda is the approval of the minutes of a special Board of Ed meeting on December 11th, 2017. Again, are there any corrections? Okay, seeing none, may I have a motion to approve these minutes?
So moved. Second.
And all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions?
Abstain.
Abstain.
Okay, those minutes are approved. All right, anyone wishing to come up and make a public comment, please come on up to the podium and state your name and address, and may I remind you that we have a 5-minute limit. Okay. All right, Mr. Emmett, you have communication to share?
I do. Thank you, Mrs. Granado. Good evening. Happy New Year, everyone. We had a meeting scheduled yesterday with the board and town leadership to discuss the budget implications related to the $867,000 ECS holdback. The meeting was postponed. However, I expect that the leadership of board and council will be rescheduling this in order to discuss our plan for addressing the reduction from the state. Very pleased to report that the town council unanimously approved the receipt of a $30,000 grant from the Hartford Foundation for Public Giving. This funding will be used to enhance and build upon preschool programming and parent engagement opportunities. The Hartford Foundation for Public Giving has deep roots in the greater Hartford community with an endowment of over $917 million. They have the capacity to support quality programming, which is something that we espouse to provide. Evidence of the success of our partnership thus far with the foundation was evident with the implementation of the kindergarten readiness program this past summer and the family learning program that's taking place here in Wethersfield currently. This funding did not require a financial match from the town or the Board of Education. And it's important to know also that the foundation funding did require that the town serve as a partner in the process. And the town council demonstrated that commitment last Tuesday. With resources dwindling at the state level, it is more important than ever to look for alternative sources of funding for innovative programs that benefit our children as well as our families. This was a charge of the board, and I am happy to report this outcome. The past 2 weeks have been extraordinarily challenging given the intense cold weather. Overall, our buildings fared well during this time, but we were not without issues. We experienced pipe freeze-ups at Highcrest, Emerson Williams, Webb, 2 freeze-ups at Silas Dean, and a heat exchanger issue at Charles Wright, and also some ongoing issues at Wethersfield High School with heat. Different units from RTU 3, I'm happy to say there. I cannot say enough for the dedication and the commitment of Mr. Bushy, the maintenance staff, as well as the custodial staff in each building. We had 0 burst pipes. And you've seen on the news recently, I know in Bridgeport, there's a school that remains closed due to damage from a burst pipe. One of the things that the maintenance crew does, once they find the freeze up, they work hard to put heat on it. We may close off the area, we may move kids out of the area to make sure that we're able to effectively thaw the pipes prior to disaster striking. So again, the committee, or the, not the committee rather, but the maintenance custodial and Mr. Bushy, we're all in over the course of the weekend. I know Sunday morning featured a low temperature of about 9 below. And it was absolutely frigid and has been so for the past couple weeks. So the fact that we were able to fare as well as we did with no burst pipes, that's a definite plus, no doubt about that. The annual State of the Town breakfast will take place at the Keeney Center on Thursday, January 18th. I certainly look forward to speaking at this event to share the district's progress in the face of the significant budget impacts we've had. The winter sports season is now in full swing. Please check our website for a schedule of events. One upcoming event that I wanted to make everyone aware of is an ice hockey match taking place this Saturday at 7 o'clock at the Newington Ice Arena. I noticed in reading the Middletown Press on Monday that our hockey team, which is a co-op team, it's Wethersfield, and we run it, but we also have players from Middletown, Rocky Hill, and Plainville. And on Saturday at 7, we'll be taking on the Newington Co-op, Newington, Berlin, Manchester, and Cromwell. And this is a special military appreciation game. And both teams will wear specially designed military jerseys and will join in a pregame ceremony honoring all veterans in attendance. There will be a color guard, a special performance of the national anthem, a printed program, a patriotic-themed raffle, and other touches. There will be a moment of silence for all deceased veterans, and the proceeds from this game will go toward the Wounded Warriors and Finally Home, an organization that works to build mortgage-free homes for veterans hurt in action. So I think that's a nice event. I will tell you, having been a regular at the Newington Ice Arena, please wear your coats. Although the way it's been, it's probably warmer inside than it is outside. Over the course of the holiday break, I mean, this is news that I don't like to report, but we experienced a vandalism incident at Emerson Williams. A set of our exterior doors was spray painted, and the playscape was also spray painted. This is a good opportunity to remind our community members that we have surveillance cameras that cover the exterior of our buildings. So for the 3 young gentlemen who were observed on camera, including the young man in the gray ski jacket, red mask, carrying a black backpack at approximately 1 a.m. on the 28th of December. The tape is currently being reviewed by the Wethersfield Police Department as well as our district security staff at WHS and SDMS for identification. While we work to identify those responsible, the exterior door has been temporarily painted. It's really too cold to put a permanent coat of paint on it at this time. The damaged sections of the playscape have either been covered and the town has removed one section so that we can attempt a repair. Finally, last but not least, with the 2 snow days that we had last week, our current last day of school will now fall on Friday, June 15th for planning purposes and graduation purposes. So with that, that's the conclusion of communications this evening.
Okay, thank you. Any comments or questions? Elaine?
Mike, with this $867,000 deduction we were asked to come up with, the town council, if I'm correct, please correct me, the town council and the board are trying to absorb that together, some of each, some going to each category?
Absolutely correct.
Okay.
Absolutely correct.
And is there a time frame we have to come up with that $867,000 by?
From what I understand, the Town Finance Committee was due to meet last week, but due to the snowstorm on Thursday, they were forced to postpone, which postponed our meeting.
But from the state, are they saying you have to pay us back this $800
No.
by a date?
No, and it's not a situation, Elaine, where we'd be paying the state back. It's just withholding. It's money that will not be coming from the state to the municipality.
Okay, and so those people, when they meet again, the leaders of both the council and the board, will come up with some alternatives or certain ways it might be divided.
Correct.
And then we'll all get to hear of that. Okay.
Absolutely
Just wanna hear the
correct.
steps.
Yep, and then what we'd be responsible for from a fiscal standpoint, we would have to come up with additional reduction scenarios. I mean, we're looking at that now, and, you know, as it is, we have a 70% cap on our spending. You know, we may end up having to go back into a budget freeze. You know, we may look at freezing additional positions. So these are factors that we're going to have to look at, no doubt.
Okay, I just read your notes on the Friday update. Thank you for the clarification.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you, Michael.
You're welcome.
Okay, we'll move on to action items, and John Cassio, would you please read motion 6A for us?
Absolutely. A little bit of background. At our last meeting on December 12th, the 10-year capital improvement plan for 2018, improvement plan for 2018, 2019 through 2028 to 2029 at the meeting was presented by Mr. Emmett. And we had some questions. We talked about some of the concerns and issues. And the Facilities and Maintenance Committee will be meeting tomorrow night at 6:30 to not only review this, but to move forward on some different options that we're working on. So with that being said, I move that the Wethersfield Board of Education approve the 10-year capital improvement plan from 2018, 2019 through 2028 to 2029.
Second.
Okay, all right. Is there any discussion or any questions? I see Fred in the audience there. Okay, Fred, I do have a question for you. And, you know, I went over it again and again. And the modules, what's the life expectancy on them now? Because I see they were 2001. Wow. Thank you.
Good evening, all. I would say that they are absolutely, unequivocally past their useful life right now. I've built into our operating budget for next year some repairs that need to happen to these spaces. It'd be my opinion that we need to look forward here to either get rid of these spaces and try to, take everyone and put them into our the permanent spaces that we have within the district, and or rebuild them totally. These spaces have a life expectancy of usually no more than 10 years, and they're well beyond that. We're going to do some things to spruce them up, but still, all in all, they're a little sad, and they really need to be taken care of.
Okay, thanks. It just, when I went over it again, I happened to spot the year that they were put in. It's 2000, 2001 is Charles Wright.
Yes.
2001, 2002 is High Crest. It's a long time ago now.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was even earlier than that. Yeah. I remember doing those in the 90s.
Those are dates I have, Mr. Morris, that historically I went back to, so.
I thought we put them in when I was last on the board, and I got off in 2000.
I
thought we had all four of them by then.
I can't answer to that. I can only go back to what the documents that I have.
Whether they're 18 years old or 20 plus.
Well, they're around 20, and they've absolutely been very well utilized, but they're very well starting to just kind of go by the wayside.
Okay. Anyone else for questions for Fred?
Quick one.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You make a mention that these various projects will allow us to recoup some costs through energy credits or things like that. Do we have any?
Any of these projects? No.
No. So this is all just.
No. The only one that I might possibly be able to get any energy credits through would be the air handling unit that would be on the gymnasium of the Southstein Middle School.
Okay.
That would be the only thing that I could really push forward to try to gather dollars from utility from.
Thank you.
Okay, John?
Yep. One of the positive things, if those that can remember, that these portable units are in the back of the buildings. Before, they used to be on the road, such as Emerson Williams. Remember that one in the middle of the parking lot for years?
High Crest shows pretty much, though.
I know, but they're not. But that's having that said, that's still not appropriate. And I know that we look at these every year.
Yeah.
And it's something that does come forward. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of money to move in that direction, but I think they're, at this point, Fred is well aware of the things that need to be done with them, and the teachers that are in there. We want to thank them for being patient with the whole thing of doing that. The other thing, now that Fred is here, I just want to thank you for the helping the school district with the gym floors. I said that at
Welcome.
the last meeting, and you weren't here, and I just thought that was a great effort on your behalf and your staff to allow that to happen, and it didn't cost the district any money, just some out period of time. So thank you, Fred.
This is something that was needed, Mr. Cascio, and when I found out that the product had failed, absolutely the worst timing for this to happen, especially right now at this season here. I'm struggling here with the past couple of days trying to move classes and getting park department and trying to move people around, trying to make folks happy. But I think all in all, if we look at the overall project here, I think everybody will be pleased. So please, when you are visiting our schools, any one of you, please visit the gymnasiums. I think that they do need a little other sprucing, some painting, and just a little aesthetic look. But look at the floors in general. Floors in general look like they're brand new, and I think we can build off of that from there.
Great. Okay, anyone else? Kevin?
Thank you, Fred. Obviously, the requests are obviously pared down from all the recommendations that we have from each school, but could you provide us with some perspective as to what actually that we've received in the past handful of years from the town in terms of our requests for capital improvements?
Here, I'll just go from, yeah, I can, absolutely.
It'd be nice to be on public record.
Just give me a moment here.
I just had it too.
Last year, we asked for approximately $702,500. It was approved of $95,000, which is approximately 1.3%. 16 and 17, $2,350,000. We received $50,000, which was approximately 2.1%. 15, 16, and I'll just go back one more year. 15, 16, we asked for $2.2 million. We received $150,000. The 3 fiscal years going back for that, we asked for between 2.5, 1.9, and 2.2, and we received $60,000 each year for that. So it's not a heck of a lot that we're getting for our capital improvement dollars.
I appreciate that. I just want to kind of reiterate to the rest of the board that, as we all know, I mean, we try to pare it down as much as we can. We only ask for what we believe is necessary, but even then, we only get a fraction of what is asked. But I appreciate that. Thank you.
I could and I'd be more than happy to I could step that up here. We've pared down this year to just a tad over $500,000. In conversations with Mr. Emmett, we haven't received any of this, and it's getting kind of cumbersome, kind of bringing all this forward. This work needs to be done. I'm not bringing it forward to say that this is a want for the board. This is a need for your school buildings. Okay, and the need out there. This is not just a want that we just have to go because we want this. This is a need for these school buildings to, for them to sustain any fruitful life going forward. Unless you want to go to the fact that we have to build new buildings or renovate our buildings. So,
that's helpful. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you, Fred. Any other discussion on this? Okay, so all those in favor? Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? So that motion passes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Fred. So Board of Ed meetings held. We had our Finance and Information Management Committee that was in December, on December 12th. Kevin spoke to it, but Kevin, we'd like you to talk about it again.
I'm happy to. Like we said, we met on December 12th prior to our last meeting. And what we focused most of our attention on was, as we discussed earlier, the $867,000 cut from the state, as well as any possible initial scenarios that the board would look to cut to meet that requirement. As we discussed earlier, the town council internally is discussing what they can absorb, and they'll be in touch with the board so hopefully sooner rather than later once their finance committee gets together. As well, what we talked about was the policy and the list of unfunded state and federal mandates. Mr. Gazaka provided the board with a list of not only what they are, but what the possible cost is to the town. And perhaps we can kind of, with the current budget climate within the state, we could help leverage that climate to help ease some of these mandates on our system.
Mm-hmm. Okay, any questions for Kevin? Polly?
I would just wonder, could we get other board members get a list of those mandates? 'Cause, I haven't seen anything more up to date than maybe 2015.
I think that's what we looked
Yeah,
at.
that is
Oh,
what we looked at.
that's the last one?
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Because I think there are some others that were
I'm
pretty
sure there's others.
substantial
Sure.
since then. Yeah, okay.
Anyone else? Okay, we'll move on. Yesterday, we had the Wethersfield Early Childhood Collaborative. Polly, will you speak to that?
Yeah, that was I hadn't been to one of those meetings in a while, and it was absolutely great. What a terrific group of people. There were representatives from the town, from the Connecticut Early Childhood Alliance, the Central Connecticut Health District, the YMCA, and also a lady who has a private firm called Tutoring Excellence. They were very excited about the fact that the council had passed and accepted the $30,000 grant from the Hartford Foundation. And I just wanted to say, one of the things, I was at that council meeting, and one of the things that I thought was absolutely terrific, and I think we talked about it a lot, and Bobby will agree, the people who came up and spoke were, first of all, for many of them, it was their first time in council chambers. They had not even ever been to a council meeting, so it was a little intimidating. And but I thought they just did a fantastic job. And one of the things that impressed me was that the WEC group has sponsored a program. It's a parent training program where they use the curriculum from UConn, and they'll be running it for the second time this year. But the people who spoke for the most part the other night were people who had graduated from that program. So I think that what was exciting was not only all of the informational benefits, but also the fact that it provided these folks with sort of having the poise to come up and speak to us. The Social and Youth Services are going to sponsor a baby shower again in May. And also one of the things that the WEC is going to do that I think is terrific is at kindergarten registration in February, they are going to start marketing the preschool programs to parents. And also they hope to do the summer transition program again, which they did last year. Yeah. And so they've awarded $8,000 scholarships so far for preschool, and we had got high accolades from Sam Danowski from the Connecticut Early Childhood Alliance. She uses Wethersfield as an example to other towns because we are doing so well with so organized and really sponsoring some good programs. And And especially what impressed me, I think, was the fact that there are so many groups represented and how much they're getting done.
Yeah, they are great. Thanks, Polly. Any questions or comments on WEC? Okay. So we'll move on to meetings scheduled, and they start now. Facilities and maintenance, as John mentioned, is tomorrow night at 6:30. School projects building committee is tomorrow night at 6:30.
That meeting has been canceled.
Oh,
Got that
okay.
word today, so no building committee meeting tomorrow.
Okay. Correct Council is on January 17th at 11:30. Shared Services Committee is on January 22nd at 6 o'clock, and Finance and Information Management Committee is on January 23rd, 2018 at 6 o'clock. All right, is there any unfinished business anybody wants to bring up or talk about? Okay, so we'll move on to anyone wishing to make a public comment. Come on up to the podium and state your name and address, and may I remind you that we do have a 5-minute limit. Okay. All right, are there any board comments? Anybody? Okay, well, we talked about it a little bit already, but I'd like to talk about the Hartford Foundation also. Last week, the Town Council did vote unanimously to accept the grant that was solicited by the Board of Ed through WEC from the Hartford Foundation for Public Giving. The foundation looks to support towns where Board of Eds, town councils, and the foundation all work together. So this grant will provide for a part-time person to collect data on our families and on our youngest citizens. The grant was initiated by WEC, and there was an excellent presentation to the Town Council made by Kim Bobbin, Sally DeStoli, and Kathy Bagley. But I'd like to add some more info on 2 items concerning this grant that were brought up. The Hartford Foundation for Public Giving has for nearly a century worked with the surrounding communities of Hartford to confront pressing issues. They are committed to continuing their work for generations to come. Our residents can be assured that this is a valuable and committed partner to work with, and I know that concern did come up. And it is a fact that for every dollar spent on early childhood and family support, we save $13 in future spending. Now, you may ask, how is that? Well, the simple truth is we're getting ahead of any problems. If we have early childhood, it creates early intervention time. Educators can be working on early intervention for speech and language, especially when English is the child's second language. And early intervention can also set the course for a young learner who may need accommodations in their learning. This board has spoken often of having a strong foundation. Well, a strong pre-K component in our system will result in just that, a strong foundation for learning and an even stronger school system. So again, I applaud the Town Council for its support of this important grant with the Hartford Foundation and their work with WEC. And this continues the board's effort to seek out other monies to support our schools. Okay, so is there anyone else for comments tonight? Otherwise, we're going to move to Justin to Life at the High School.
Thank you. WHS's winter blood drive was held right before break, and we had a very high turnout with lots of donations. Thank you to Ms. Coco for organizing this event again this year. For sports, the boys swim and dive team had a big home meet tonight against Hall. Tomorrow, boys varsity ice hockey has a game at 7:10 at the Newington Arena. Wrestling has a match at 6 at East Hartford High School, and girls basketball has a home game at 7. The midterm exam schedule has been altered due to the 2 snow days we had last week. Exams will now be held Tuesday, January 18th, Friday the 19th, and continuing on Monday the 22nd and ending Tuesday the 23rd. Thank you.
Okay, any questions or comments for Justin?
Justin, I just find that amazing how well you did that for us. Thank you. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. You didn't miss anything that's going on. That was great.
I'm sure I left out something.
John?
If you'd like to stay tuned, Justin's going to be a co-anchor tomorrow.
Okay.
It's
We get the
cool.
videos. We do. We get them. That's great. I know. I don't think there's a microphone Justin has ever not liked.
I'd have to agree with that.
Okay, anyone else for final comments? So can I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So moved.
A second? All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? All right, so this meeting is adjourned. Thank you all, and good night.